It's heartbreaking to see how constant monitoring and control at work can reactivate trauma responses for survivors, turning what should be a safe environment into a daily struggle. Have you noticed yourself feeling smaller, more anxious, or questioning your competence when every move is scrutinized? That hypervigilance you're experiencing isn't just annoying. It could be your nervous system responding to perceived threat. In this episode, I'm sharing trauma-informed strategies that have helped hundreds of my clients reclaim their power in micromanaged environments. Techniques that honor both your professional boundaries and your healing journey. Without these tools, many survivors find themselves either trapped in triggering work cultures or quitting jobs they otherwise love. Don't let micromanagement derail your career or reactivate old wounds. Let's explore how to respond in ways that protect your well-being and professional growth. Did you know that trauma impacts how we navigate our careers, but most career advice ignores this reality? Imagine feeling confident and safe at work while honoring your healing journey. Welcome to your Trauma-Wise Career Guide, the podcast that reimagines career development for trauma survivors. I'm your host, Cyndi Bennett, a trauma survivor turned trauma-informed career coach and founder of the Resilient Career Academy. If you're navigating your career while honoring your healing journey, you are in the right place. Before we dive in, I want to acknowledge that we'll be discussing workplace dynamics that might feel triggering for some of us. As always, take care of yourself first. Pause, breathe, or come back to this episode when you feel ready. Today, we're tackling a challenge many of us face: micromanagement. For those of us with trauma histories, having someone constantly looking over our shoulder, questioning our decisions, or controlling our work process can be especially difficult. It can trigger those same feelings of powerlessness, anxiety, or inadequacy that we've worked so hard to overcome. But here's what I want you to remember. You deserve to work with dignity. Your boundaries matter. And there are ways to navigate these situations while protecting your well-being. So what do we need to understand about micromanagement triggers? Let's start by understanding why micromanagement can feel challenging for trauma survivors. When someone is constantly checking your work, correcting you, or not giving you autonomy, it can activate our nervous system's threat response. Maybe it reminds you of past experiences where you weren't trusted, where your voice didn't matter, or where you felt controlled. Early in my career, I had a manager who was a perfectionist. He constantly checked all my work, always finding some minute detail I had missed. He questioned all my decisions and criticized my attention to detail. I went home crying every night, feeling small again, like I was back in that place where nothing I did was ever good enough. Can you relate? This response makes complete sense. Our bodies remember. When we experience a similar dynamic to past trauma, even in a professional setting, our bodies can respond as if we're facing that original threat. You might notice racing thoughts or difficulty concentrating, feeling on edge or hypervigilant about mistakes, people-pleasing behaviors resurging, the impulse to either completely withdraw or become defensive, and physical symptoms like headaches, tension, or stomach issues. First, I want you to know that recognizing these responses is an important step. It's not just in your head. Your body is trying to protect you based upon what it's learned in the past. Now, let's talk about practical ways to navigate micromanagement while honoring your needs. Number 1, ground yourself in the present. When you notice those familiar feelings arising, try this quick grounding exercise. Name 5 things you can see in your workplace. Identify 4 things you can touch or feel. Acknowledge 3 sounds around you. Notice 2 things you can smell, and be aware of 1 thing you can taste. This helps your nervous system recognize that you're in the present, not in past traumatic situations. Number 2, document your work. Create systems to document your work process and accomplishments. This serves 2 purposes. It gives your manager visibility into your progress, which might reduce their need for a check-in, and it helps you recognize your own competence when self-doubt creeps in. Consider sending brief weekly progress updates, using project management tools to track tasks, keeping a personal wins document where you note successes, however small. Number 3, seek clarity on expectations. Sometimes micromanagement stems from misaligned expectations. Try having a conversation with your manager about their specific concerns or priorities, how they define success for your role, their preferred communication style and frequency, areas where you might have more autonomy. Frame this as wanting to excel in your role, not as criticism of their management style. Number 4, establish boundaries with care. You deserve boundaries, but approaching them strategically can make a difference. I've noticed I work more effectively when I have some uninterrupted time to focus. Would it work if we scheduled check-ins at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. rather than throughout the day? Or, I appreciate your feedback on this project. To help me learn and grow, would you be open to reviewing my work at these specific milestones rather than each step of the process? Notice how these approaches focus on mutual benefit and problem solving rather than criticism. While those practical strategies can help in immediate situations, there's also deeper work we can do. Recognize your competence. Micromanagement can reactivate old doubts about your abilities. Create a practice of recognizing your skills, experiences, and strengths. Each day, note 1 thing you did well or 1 problem you solved. Build an evidence file against that inner critic that says you're not capable. Separate past from the present. When you notice yourself reacting strongly, practice the pause and ask, what percentage of this reaction is about my current manager and what percentage might be about past experiences? Or if a friend described this exact situation to me, would I see it as threatening as it feels to me right now? This isn't to invalidate your experience, but to help discern when past trauma might be amplifying present challenges. Find resources of validation beyond your manager. Diversify where you receive affirmation from: colleagues, mentors, friends, or your own internal compass. This reduces the power of one person's management style to define your sense of worth. In my situation, I asked a colleague to review my work before I handed it in to my boss. That helped a lot because she provided positive affirmations and suggestions for improvement rather than constant criticism. Consider your options thoughtfully. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, a micromanaging environment simply isn't healthy for us. If you've tried various approaches and still find yourself consistently triggered, it's okay to consider other options. This might mean transferring to another team, or seeking a different role, or in some cases, looking for a new position. This isn't failure. It's honoring your needs and continuing your healing journey. I want to share a story from Alex, a listener who wrote, "After months of feeling diminished by my micromanaging supervisor, I finally requested a meeting. I explained that I understood she needed visibility into my work, but I'd perform better with some autonomy. We agreed on daily end-of-day updates instead of hourly check-ins. It wasn't perfect overnight, but it gave me breathing room. Most importantly, advocating for myself reminded me that I have a voice now, even when I didn't in the past. What I love about Alex's story is the reminder that small steps can create meaningful change, both in external circumstances and our internal healing. As we close today, I want to remind you that navigating triggering workplace dynamics is complex. Some days you'll handle it beautifully, and other days might be harder. That's part of the healing journey. What matters is that you continue showing up for yourself with compassion. Recognizing your worth isn't determined by someone else's management style. We've explored how micromanagement can reactivate trauma responses, but identifying triggers is just the beginning of reclaiming your power at work. These strategies help with immediate situations, but many of you are still navigating career challenges alone without trauma-informed support systems tailored to your unique journey. That's why I've created the Workplace Trigger Toolkit specifically for trauma survivors. You can download it free from my website at www.cyndibennettconsulting.com/resources. This toolkit includes a comprehensive workplace trigger checklist to identify your personal triggers, a trigger tracker to document and understand your responses, and a customizable coping strategy list with proven techniques for grounding, affirming, resolving, distracting, and self-soothing. Stop cycling through triggering work environments or leaving jobs you love. Start creating workplaces that honor both your professional growth and healing journey. For ongoing support, join the Resilient Career Academy learning community at www.cyndibennettconsulting.com/RCA. Join today to begin your journey toward trauma-informed career success and workplace empowerment. For next week's episode, we'll be exploring recognizing your unique strengths, how to discover and embrace the natural talents that have always been within you, but may have been obscured by your trauma experience. We'll talk about how to identify these inherent strengths and leverage them in your professional life. Until then, remember, your past has shaped you, but it doesn't define your professional future. You bring valuable skills and perspectives to your work, and you deserve to be treated with respect and trust. Thank you for being part of this community. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk with you next week.